presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. It is a warm, humid day in the Motor City, but a perfect day for Tigers baseball. Welcome to Comerica Park this afternoon, the final game of the series, featuring the visiting Cleveland Indians and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers baseball. Mario and Pemba, Kirk Gibson. Glad you're with us here this afternoon. The Tigers, of course, trying to stop this Tribe team. Gibby that has been red hot, but Justin Verlander, he's been on a roll of his own.
Yeah, we got the right guy on the mound today. You know, the Tigers really need Justin to throw a gem. Good pitching is good pitching, and the Indians have certainly done that. Got to stay out of the middle of the plate. Those pitches have killed the Tigers in this series, JB. 9 straight starts in 7 innings or more. He's got the stuff to do it. He's got all the pitches, curveball, upper fastball right there. And then he drops that little cutter in there and the changeup as well. So the Tigers need a good performance from JB today. That starts right out the top of the first inning.
All right, now the Seattle Mariners came to town. The Tigers swept them, and all of a sudden they lose 2 to the Cleveland Indians. But if you're the Tigers, you just have to remain even-keeled, I think, and kind of keep things in perspective.
Well, you couldn't have said it better, Mario. There's just 3 things I was thinking about. What do the Tigers got to do? Good pitching, stops good hitting. We knew it coming in. Cleveland's done that. The Tigers have not. That falls on Justin Verlander. And just stay the course. Just keep having good at-bats. You've had good at-bats, but they have not had a lead against the Indians yet this year. So let's get a lead today. And you know what? You can hustle. Apply your pressure. And the other thing, this game, it'll make you nuts. You just got to be nuts. Never give in. Unity. Keep your tenacity. Be selfless. Don't try to do it yourself. And just win today and then have a nice off day tomorrow on to Miami.
All right, Trevor Thompson in the Call Sam Studios after a short break. But coming up in this one, the Tigers have to find a way to stop these red-hot bats of the Cleveland Indians. That'll fall on the shoulders of Justin Verlander today. Stay with us. Tigers Tribe, Game 3 in this series coming up next. Comerica Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. And by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. On-field photo day before the game here this afternoon. James McCann flashing some selfies. The Tigers and Indians getting set to do battle here in the final game in this series. Justin Verlander is on the mound for the Tigers. He is presented today by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
7-5 on the year, averaging 7 1/3 innings over his last 9 starts. Been very dependable. Had one good start and one bad against the Indians, but that was really 2 starts in about 8 days. Tigers need him to go deep into the game. He'll throw lots of pitches. I see him maybe up to 120 today. Lefties hit 208 against him. Righties 234. So need a gem from JV.
All right, here is the lineup he will face today, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. And for Chicago, or for Cleveland, I should say, it's Santana, Martinez, and Lindor. The top 3 in the lineup. Lindor had his first multi-homer game yesterday. Napoli, Ramirez, Chisenhall in the middle. Yan Gomes catching again today. Juan Uribe back at 3rd, and Tyler Naquin is batting 9th and playing center field. And as we scope out the standings, the Indians, well, they've got to be slowed down somehow, some way.
Well, they're not going to keep winning the rest of their games throughout the year. They'll come back to the pack, but you never like to get in a situation where you get swept by the team that's in first place, even at this juncture of the season. Tigers have not played that bad. They've gotten shut down by good pitching, and you can see Kansas City, they're trying to hang in there as well, and there's a lot of fight left in all these teams. Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. You've got Jay Up out there in left field as always. Cam Maven in center. Mike Aviles in right again today. Castellanos and Cabrera at the corners. Iglesias and Ian Kinsler up the middle, and Jared Saltamakis catching Justin Verlander today.
It is hot and humid here at the ballpark today. The Tigers trying to avoid the sweep at the hands of the Indians. It'll be Santana to lead things off. Santana, Martinez, and Lindor, top 3 facing JV, and here we go. First pitch of the ball game is a strike called on Carlos Santana.
Good shutdown inning here. It'd be good. I don't know if you, I'm sure you heard me say that the Tigers have not had a lead in the season series yet this year.
Pretty remarkable when you think about it.
They tied for about 3 innings. That was 0-0. That's the best. The Indians have just been all over them and looking for a reversal today.
Indians have gone out to quick leads in this season series. Yesterday, Santana, Lindor with home runs in the first. 1 ball and 1 strike on Santana. Infield is playing to pull. 1-1 pitch is popped in the air. Shallow left center field. Long run for Maben, who comes in to make the play. 1 out. Here are the field conditions today, presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. It is 86 at game time. Muggy is a really good way to describe the conditions today. And what else do we have?
It's moist so far, but it's going to dry up quickly. It'll be really quick later. The moist went with your muggy.
Moist and muggy. That's just one of those days at the ballpark today. Yesterday was really nice, but today very humid. Here is Michael Martinez batting .308. He'll look at a ball outside. Castellanos playing in tight at third base, protecting against a possible bunt. Now the 1-0. He shows bunt, pulls it back, swings and misses.
Look at Cassie just standing there. Martinez trying to do the slug bunt where he squares early, and then they're trying to hit it in between Castellanos and Iglesias for a base hit, but unable to make contact.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Martinez cuts and misses. 1-2. Martinez was batting .288 at AAA, and then was called up when Brantley was placed on the disabled list earlier this year. Saltalamacchia flashing the signs here today. Here's the 1-2. Popped up third base side. Castellanos ranging toward the railing, and he'll make the play.
The young fan over there almost interfered. Nick, good concentration, puts it away. It's very tough to do when you chase over to the stands like that. The ball's actually out over the stands, then it comes back into the field of play. Of course, the fans' natural reaction is to go for the ball as well, but you want to stay put. You're the home team.
That's right. Do not interfere. Here is Lindor with 2 outs. A couple of home runs in yesterday's ball game. Strike 1 on Lindor.
Good-looking youngster, 2 for 8 so far in the trip here in to see the Tigers. Both of them home runs.
12 homers last year. He will surpass that with ease this year. He already has 10. A little bit outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. No Jason Kipnis in the ball game today for the Indians. Left the ball game early yesterday.
Must have a bad hamstring from all the triples he ran out.
The Indians as a team have hit a bunch in this series. 1-1 is high. Of course, Kipnis has not had a whole lot of success in his career against JV. Just 5 for 47 with a bunch of strikeouts. So that's a good day to have off for Kipnis. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Slice toward left field, right at Upton. Started in, now he's going to back up and make the play. So it's a 1-2-3 inning. JV sets him down in order. Here this afternoon, Kinsler will lead things off for the Tigers. Their lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Kinsler, Maven, Cabrera, your top 3. Vimart is DHing, batting cleanup. Castellanos at third. Upton is in left. You've got Salty behind the dish today. Vilas again in right field, and Jose Iglesias had a good month. He will bat 9th and play short. And they are facing the right-handed offerings of Josh Tomlin.
Yeah, been very effective. Not your prototypical power pitcher. 8-1 on the year. Done very well. Fastball's only averaged around 88. Does have a good cutter, curveball, and change. And this guy just competes. He's a bulldog. He knows how to compete. He knows how to get outs with the pitches that he has.
So Tomlin will dig in now against Kinsler. Ian in the series 2 out of 8. Tomlin's had a lot of recent success against the Tigers. The first one is fouled back. Tigers have not been able to solve the Indians pitching in the first 2 games in the series. Salazar and Carrasco were both outstanding.
I think the first game, Salazar gave the Tigers a chance to score more runs. I thought Carrasco was outstanding yesterday. His best performance of the year for the Indians.
A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, the Tigers got the Salazar a little bit in that first game. They scored 3 against him in the 5th, but that was about it. Driven foul down the right field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ian. What's going on in the Tribe dugout there?
Can't see it.
Somebody's getting made fun of. Little bat flips and home run swings apparently going on.
Well, when you win 8 in a row, doesn't take much to be happy, does it?
The 1-2 is lifted in the air toward right, sinking and caught on the run by Chisenhall.
Let's take a look at the Indians starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Left field to right, Michael Martinez, Tyler Naquin, and Lonnie Chisenhall. Juan Uribe at third base. Carlos Santana not DHing today. He's at first. Lindor and Jose Ramirez up the middle. Yan Gomes is catching Josh Tomlin today.
Here's Cameron Maybin. Maybin 4 hits in the series. Is 4 for 8. That'll back him out of there. 1-0. Maybe trying to get something started here ahead of Miguel Cabrera. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's in there for a strike.
Now, I made a point in our open about just sticking with having good at bats. Ian Kinsler, that was a good at bat. He hit the ball good, right to the right fielder. There's nothing you can do about that, but you just want to not get too frustrated with the result. Just stick with the process, and they'll start falling. Game will turn around and come to you in an easier way.
Bouncing ball to short. Lindor gobbles it up there. 2 gone. That'll bring up Cabrera. Well, it's kind of like you said yesterday, Gibby. You can have a good at bat. You can hit the ball hard, and if it's an out, you have to kind of trick your mind into believing that, look, I still accomplished something there.
Then you're all good for the next go. Like, you don't have to, because what happens if you process it in a negative way, you're trying to figure out what you need to do differently. The reality of it is nothing. You had a good at bat. You swung at a good pitch. You hit a rocket straight to the right fielder. Move on. You don't need to. You don't need to back off the plate. You don't need to stay back more. I mean, all these things that go in through your head as a hitter, you don't need to do all that.
Well, Cabrera fighting it a bit. He is just 4 for 23 on the homestand. 1 hit in the series against the Tribe. And he looks at a good pitch there for strike 2. Tomlin is out of Tyler, Texas. He's 31 years of age. The 0-2. You know you're going pretty good when your bottom guy in the rotation has 8 victories already this year.
Yeah, Cleveland just has a very solid staff. They've stayed healthy, and they haven't had to switch it around too much.
They want the appeal on the check, but he didn't go.
Now, they've really been hammering Miguel inside, and then they've thrown that breaking ball off the body. See how he threw that one up and in, made him kind of get out of the way. Now they've been dropping that breaking ball off the body.
Down the right field line, it is slicing, and that ball is foul. Miggy made a bid the other way. By the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites now being served all day.
My guy's Iglesias today.
Going with Iggy, huh? I'm going to go with Victor Martinez. Again, the 2-2. Line drive, base hit left field. 2-out single for Cabrera.
Well, that's what I've been talking about right there. They've been throwing him hard inside and throwing the breaking ball off the body. Miggy knows it too. He sat right there. Look at this ball's coming right at the shoulder. No bail. Right over the heart of the plate. Tomlin's got to be happy that he didn't hit it out of the ballpark. Just a dead curve ball right here. Right down the middle. Miggy stays back. 2-out single. So
here is Victor Martinez. So when I say I'm going with Martinez as the player of the game today, I'm going against the grain because lifetime he is just 158 against Tomlin. And he may have just turned it around. That ball's hit deep to right, but it's not going to be deep enough. Circling is Chisenhall to make the catch, and the side retired. No runs and a hit. One man left. Well, Justin Verlander has been on a roll, especially when you look at the numbers in his last 9 starts.
Numbers are the way you want to see them. 2.34 ERA, whip below 1, strikeouts per 9, way up.
Mike Napoli lines one to left field. Upton will come on to make the play, and 1 pitch and 1 out. Bring up Jose Ramirez.
Like to see those quick outs.
Four up, 4 down against Verlander to start this one as Ramirez stands in. He's had a triple of the series. That's his only hit. He's 1 for 8. You look at a strike on the outer edge. JB's had 3 10 strikeout games this year. One of those came against the Indians on April 22nd. Now they go 1. Good pitch, 0-2 on Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, he threw on the 22nd of Jim. He lost 2-1. Then on the 3rd of May, which is not that many, 8 or 9 days later, he got beat up pretty good. You don't ever really want to see a pitcher going back-to-back games like that. Actually, there's 1 start in between. But there's been plenty of time since that last May 3rd start. Here we are in the, what's it, 26th of June. So JB's had some time to think that last one out and watch these first 2 games as well.
Slow roller toward third base, ranging left, Castellanos. And there are 2 gone. It'll bring us to the Bernstein advantage, the pitcher-batter matchup, as Lonnie Chisenhall comes rolling in. Here are his numbers against Verlander.
Well, not too good. 235, 3 doubles. That's the only damage. 7 strikeouts.
1 for 8 in the series, a 3-base hit. There's a ball inside to Chisenhall. He began the year on the disabled list, had some inflammation in his forearm, then a wrist problem as well. Here's the 1-0. Indians, courtesy of their win yesterday, are now 8-0 against the Tigers this year, and they've outscored the Tigers 51-7 in that stretch. One ball, one strike. Line foul out of play, 1-2. Two out, nobody on. We're in the second, no score. Tigers have an off day tomorrow, and then the Miami Marlins come in for a couple of games.
They've been playing pretty good, the Marlins, under Don Mattingly.
Line to center field, and that's going to drop, base hit. Two out single for Chisenhall. Tigers fortunately will not see Jose Fernandez, who is pitching today.
If you think Carrasco was tough.
Oh.
Fernandez very tough.
Although the Tigers got to him when they played in Miami at the start of the year.
They opened up down there 2 games. A 2-2 series, 2 there. Now they're going to have 2 here this week.
Here's Yan Gomes with 2 outs. Gomes this year is batting just .134 against right-handed pitching, which is dead last in the American League, and a breaking ball missed inside. He's got some power. He homered in the ball game yesterday.
Off a righty. Chisenhall does have 3 steals so far this year, so Salty and JB have to keep an eye on him. 2 outs, a great time to run as always. Always try and steal a run when you get that 2-out rally going.
2-0 on Gomes. Justin's last start, he gave up 2 runs in 7 innings of work against Seattle earlier on this homestand. He's thrown 100 pitches in every start but 2 this year. It's fouled straight back, 2-1. By the way, today's game is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land, and it ships at sea. We welcome you all today for the Tigers and the Indians.
Sure, there's some good debates that go on around the world, and Tigers, Indians, who's going to win? Favorite team?
Well, the Tigers are due. Still in search of their first win against the Tribe this year. There's another foul back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It'll be interesting to see how the Indians do today as far as the amount of foul balls they hit in the first 2 games. Just staying alive when they get 2 strikes. Notice they're very good. And they've really been good at just hitting the mistakes. And we kind of went to Pitch FX and looked at some of the runs that the Indians have scored, and it's kind of the height of belt to mid thigh. They have not missed them in this series yet. So that's the challenge for JB. Keep them out of that zone. Hopefully he can get quicker outs with less foul balls and go deeper in the game.
Swing and a miss.
Like that.
Gomes is out on strikes, and the first strikeout of the ball game for Verlander. No runs and a hit, 1 man left. Score in this one, both teams with one hit. MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on Josh Tomlin.
So much is made out of gotta throw hard. You gotta throw hard. 88.8 average fastball for Tomlin, 6th slowest in the MLB, minimum 200 thrown. But he knows what to do with all of his other pitches. He moves it around. It's been very successful, and his 8-1 record would reflect that.
Castellanos leads it off for the Tigers in the second, and Nick swings on the first and pops it up. First base side, tough play, Santana. He'll stay with it, one gone. A one pitch out for Tomlin here in the second. We'll bring up Justin Upton.
Five Tigers have hit so far in this game. 3 of them have swung at the first pitch, so they're going to be aggressive today on Tomlin.
Justin batting .234. Looks at a strike 0-1. Upton in the series 1 for 6. Swing and a miss.
Crowding Jay up with the fastball right there. You can see Jay Ups just couldn't get his hands in enough to get the barrel on the ball. Generally they feature lots of fastballs up in the zone and breaking balls away.
Upton hit just .213 in the month of May, .270 in the month of June. Trying to get something started here in the second inning, and really since June 1st he's had 21 RBIs, so he's driven in quite a few this month. And Tomlin missed the outside part of the plate, 1-2.
That's Jim Reynolds, home plate umpire tonight. Not biting on that. You can see what Tomlin's trying to run that ball just on the outside corner. Stayed off. Did see a flinch, but no call.
2-2 the count.
Most RBIs in the American League this month. Encarnacion, Jones, Beltran, and then Jay Up. 21 RBI. 4th in the league.
Two is strike 3 called, and Justin took it looking for the second out.
That was a very good pitch there. Started him off with 2 in, then went 2 away. Look at this breaking pitch right off the inside part of the plate. And it comes right over and nicks it. Here you can see ball on the fingers on the side. It's inside, and then it just moves right at the end. Good job by Gomes to frame it. Gets the call.
Here is Sal Tulamacchia, who in limited time against Tomlin is 4 for 5 against him with a home run.
It's one of those things. Could be one of the reasons he's in the lineup today, although trying to give James McCann a little bit of time off. He'll have the off day tomorrow. That'll be very nice for James.
High towering fly ball into shallow right field. Chisenhall coming over, and that'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Josh Tomlin. 2 in the books here at Comerica. No score.
Park. The last time Justin Verlander saw the Cleveland Indians was back on May 3rd in Cleveland. That day was a rough one for JV. He lasted just 5 innings, allowing 7 earned runs, and after the start, his ERA stood at nearly 6.5. But in the face of adversity, Verlander took to Twitter, claiming he was close to dominating again, and doubt me if you want, we'll see. Well, what we've seen in the 9 starts since is JV returned to form, going 5-2 with an ERA just over 2. So Justin Verlander, a man of his word on social media, Mario, and Gibby, back to you.
Yeah, J-Dub, and he really has responded to the adversity he had earlier this year. But the one thing, Kirk, we know about Justin Verlander, he's always been a supremely confident player.
He is, and I think that because some were doubting him, he wanted to serve notice that he was not doubting himself, and he told the whole league and world.
Meanwhile, Uribe flies out to left field for the first out. Here is the Chevy Silverado most dependable player, and you talk about Justin Verlander since May 8th. There you go.
The numbers speak for themselves. All good. Opponent's average 190. That's third. Strikeouts #1. ERA way down. The innings very important. 5 wins. He could have had more. He's thrown some good games where he has not been rewarded, but that's going to happen. Sometimes you don't give up a lot of runs and your team scores a lot of runs for you. All evens out.
Tyler Naquin, the #9 hitter, stands in. Naquin had a pretty good day yesterday, double and a triple.
He looks like just a dead low ball hitter to me. He had a ball triple, I believe, yesterday on a ball down and out of the zone. Bat swings made up for the pitch down.
And he can run too. Naquin, a first-round pick a couple of years ago, 2012, out of Texas A&M University. JV ahead 0-2. No score. We're in the third. And Naquin fouls it off.
.30 pitches, only 9 balls. That's good ratio JV's got going.
Naquin takes high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This young kid, just from the limited look we've had, nice swing. Stays on the plane through the hitting zone. Puts the bat on the ball. Like you said, he runs very good. Uses the whole field.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Couple of strikeouts now for JV. Time for a game break. Here is Mickey York.
The first baseman, Carlos Santana.
All right, Mick, thank you. The first time through the lineup, Verlander has retired 8 of the 9 he has faced. Here's Carlos Santana with 2 outs. Infield playing a shift to the right side, and Santana fouls it away. Santana was acquired from the Los Angeles Dodgers a few years back. Indians gave up Casey Blake, who was a veteran infielder / outfielder, and they got Santana, and he's pretty much been a fixture ever since he's come to Cleveland.
Well, highly ranked when they got him as a catcher.
Foul away.
He actually played quite a bit of catcher, second base, third base. He's been in the outfield, very versatile, mostly a DH. Back in 2010, he got drilled at home by Ryan Kalish from Boston. He injured his knee, and that was his rookie year. That ended his year. So when you get that as a catcher, that's not an injury that you want to have early in your career. It's tough to squat back there with knee injuries. No purpose pitch there.
1-2 on Santana. He walks a lot, we know that. In fact, he is 5th this year in walks in the American League with 42. Typically near the top every single season in the AL. Now the 1-2. Fouled away. Well, Menards brings you the big money encounter as we look at career homers against Verlander. Who's on top of that list?
Yeah, Carlos Santana right here. You're seeing it. Good battle. Jim Thome, he's on everybody. He's on a lot of guys' lists. A-Rod as well. And look at Victor down there at the bottom. Now they're teammates.
Low ball 2.
You can just tell Santana sees JB's pitches very well. He throws for the fastball. Seems like he's on that. Just the change up there. Just looked at it. Always trying to induce swings at marginal pitches if you're the pitcher.
Missed again. Now he's gone 3-2.
Justin's trying to get that ball down and away. Yanking it a little bit, and those balls have been down and in, out of the zone. You want to get the swing over top of that ball. You start at about middle of the plate, and then it fades off down to the corner. Just not quite there yet with that pitch.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Nice.
1, 2, 3 for Verlander, his 3rd strikeout of the game. The American League, you got a couple of Royals on that list. You've got a couple of Red Sox as well. Mike Trout, center field.
Altuve, that's my guy right now. Boy, he's fun to watch, and he had an interesting run around the base paths. Almost had a hit for the cycle yesterday. Bogarts, good young player with the Red Sox. Machado.
Bogarts having a really nice year this year.
Can't go wrong with any of those guys.
Mike Aviles will get things started here in the 3rd. It'll be Aviles, Iglesias, and then Kinsler. 218 this year for Mike, who's out in right field again today. Stephen Moy has had a bit of a tender knee, so he hasn't played the last couple of days. Tomlin gets ahead 0-2 on Aviles. A little bit outside, 1-2. Tomlin had a 1-2-3 second inning. There's a drive to left field. Down the line, that ball is up. That ball is gone. It's out of here. Aviles drives it out of the park, and the Tigers have a 1-0 lead. First of the year for Mike Aviles.
Well, Tigers have their first lead of the year in the season series in any game versus the Cleveland Indians due to Mike Aviles right here trying to get it in. The Could Mike pull those hands in, barrels this ball, carries on out to left field. And now that he's been getting more at bats, you can see his swing much better with more consistency, hitting the ball squarely.
Vilas has gotten twice as many at bats in the month of June than he had in any other month so far this year. And there's what you talk about, Gibby, the first lead against the Indians this season.
That's crazy. 9 games. We're in the 9th game.
Iggy sends a ground ball foul, 0-2. That'll get the crowd rather buzzing a little bit. They've been relatively quiet in the series here because not a whole lot to cheer about.
Good crowds, though. You tell the Tiger fans getting excited about the Tigers, the way they're starting to come around. Always are in support of their team.
The 0-2. Checked it. Did he go? Negative.
This is Manny Gonzalez down there at first base.
Now Tomlin with the 1-2 pitch and a check again. This time he went, says home plate umpire Jim Reynolds. Now he's finally going to call him out. Iglesias trying to avoid the tag. He's out of there. Second strikeout for Tomlin.
Pretty good breaking ball right there from Tomlin.
Tomlin has made 4 really good starts in a row against the Tigers. 3-0 with a 1.57 over his last 4. 2 of those this year.
We call this reverse lock day.
Kinsler takes ball 1.
That means it seems like he's got our number, but he doesn't today.
Well, the Aviles home run will help here in the 3rd.
Got to keep tacking on.
Soft line drive up the middle, going to be caught there by Ramirez. So Kinsler now is 0 for 2. 2 away. Bring up Cameron Maybin. Maybin a 6-3 ground out in his first at bat. He has not had too many bad at bats here in his home ballpark this year. He sits safely in 18 of 19 at home. And over 400 in this ballpark in the batting average column.
Just hope he can bottle that swing, stay healthy, and keep it all throughout the year.
See if this finds the seats, and it will. Out of play. Really has been amazing. I'm not sure what the Tigers expected out of Maybin when they traded for him, but obviously Anthony Gose struggled early in the year, was sent down to AAA. Maybin came off the disabled list and really has not stopped hitting since.
I think they were expecting a good platoon, healthy platoon situation. 2 guys that can play good D, bring some energy to the team. But the one thing that stuck out of was the fact that Maybin hits right-handed pitching as well.
He'll bounce out to the second baseman Ramirez. That'll end the inning. However, Mike Aviles gives the Tigers the lead, a solo shot to start things off here in the 3rd. And the Tigers have a 1-0 lead. Well, the former Indian Mike Aviles has given the Tigers a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the fourth here at the ballpark today. And JV back to work, facing 2, 3, and 4. Martinez, Lindor, Napoli against Verlander. Justin has struck out 3 in this game. And he'll start him off with a strike. 0-1 on Michael Martinez. Popped up in foul ground his first time up to the third baseman. Martinez, former Philly and former Pittsburgh Pirate. Fouled it back 0-2.
JV's come out throwing strikes. Again, the Indians look like they're trying to be aggressive. Martinez is actually a scrappy little player. He can play all around the diamond.
Yeah, the Indians have a couple of guys that can play in several different positions. Martinez can go all over the place, infield, outfield.
Lots of switch hitters in the lineup. Again, they have 4 today. A couple left-handed hitters to go against JV. It's always good to be versatile.
Now the 1-2. 2-2 on Michael Martinez. Francisco Lindor will bat next. So far, the Indians just 1 hit. That was a single by Chisenhall in the second. No damage on that, though. Here's the 2-2. Full count on Martinez.
Don't want any free passes. The way the Indians have been driving the ball, make them hit their way on.
And Martinez takes his walk. Leadoff man aboard.
Well, let's take a look at Cleveland's offense. They've just been hitting the mistakes. You see the pitches left out up over the plate. The Tigers have not got the benefit of the doubt on these. They hit 4 triples on Friday. A couple of home runs yesterday in the first inning. Santana, see that ball's just out over the middle of the plate. It's an off-speed pitch, then a hanging curveball here to Lindor. The JV so far has been very good at that. Hopefully we can keep it going today.
Lindor lined out sharply to left field in his first at bat. And another throw back to the bag at first. That was a lot closer. Martinez has not stolen this year. He's 0 for 2.
He is capable, though. JV doing a good job of keeping him honest.
Lindor slaps it foul, back out of play. Lindor is a native of Puerto Rico. He wears the number 12 in honor of another Puerto Rican that was a pretty good major league player, and that was Robbie Alomar, who used to play for the Indians. He was his hero.
He was pretty good, all right.
He was, I think, as good as it came at that position, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I remember playing against him early and when I was with the Dodgers. Really impressive. Could really handle the bat. Very talented.
The Alomar-Vizquel double play combination that the Indians had going in their heyday when they went to the World Series in the mid-90s, that was really good.
That was 97, wasn't it?
97, correct.
That was a chilly World Series. Remember how cold it was?
Yeah.
It was snowing.
And that was back in the day when they had sellouts every night in Cleveland. The 0-1 pitch is a ground ball right side. It's going to get through, base hit. Martinez on his way to third base, and he'll get in there safely. And so the Indians now have 2 on, nobody out. Well, school is out and summer is here. It's time for your child to join the Detroit Tigers Kids Club. Members receive a Miguel Cabrera backpack, hat, discount tickets for every Sunday home game, and a whole lot more. So check it out at tigers.com/kids club to order.
So just for the sake of illustration, obviously you don't want to walk somebody to lead off the inning. But that hit right there to Lindor, it was a good pitch. It's a ground ball just in between the 3-4 hole. When you're going good, those balls seem to find find a hole. Now they've got first and third, nobody out.
Mike Napoli looks at a strike, and things certainly have been going good for Cleveland. They are in a stretch now in which they've won 8 consecutive games. They are now 23-10 against the Central Division. That'll get away from Saltalamacchia. They'll try and score the run, and Martinez will. A wild pitch ties the game at 1.
Missed the ball, just yanked right there. Salty tries to get his body over in front of it. Couldn't get his shoulders turned, and I thought for a second he was going to have a chance to make the play to home. JB got here in time. I think he just decided to eat it, not compound the problem. It's a very hard play to make if you're a catcher. Run away from the plate and then underarm one to your pitcher. Pitcher can get hurt, or it can not catch it and goes into left field, and now you got a guy on third, nobody out. So Tigers are now tied 1-1. 50 pitches so far. He's been pretty good, grinding it out a little bit here in the 4th.
2 balls and 1 strike on Mike Napoli. Not only does Martinez score, but Lindor will take second on that wild pitch. And now time call. Saltalamacchia is out to the mound.
I think this is our first meeting between the two, right? Pitcher catcher of the game.
It is. That at the last start it was McCann, if I remember correctly.
JB, he likes to make sure he knows his catcher is on the same page, and we're going to see several of those today.
McCann had a lot of visits out to the mound the last time JB pitched against Seattle. Napoli trying to untie this ball game. 1-1 contest in the 4th. Here's the 2-1. Inside. 3 balls and 1 strike on Napoli. The 23-10 mark the Indians have within the division is the best record in baseball within a team's own division. Terry Francona has him rolling right now. The All-Star break looming. 4th season as the Indians manager. There's a walk. Napoli is on second walk in the inning.
The second baseman, Jose Ramirez.
Let's bring up Jose Ramirez.
I don't think that was any kind of an intentional walk. But JB just trying to be too fine right now. Lost the zone here for a second in this inning. Make a good quality pitch here, get the double play, and things will be back in order.
Now Verlander wants to have a chat with Castellanos.
Just want to make sure what the play is. There's several different options. Casti can go in. He could do the wheel play here where the shortstop starts the play and he runs to third. Casti comes in and the first baseman Cabrera comes in. That's when they go for the out at third, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
Way high. Saltalamacchia had to flag that one down. Justin was cruising through 3, but then all of a sudden a leadoff walk to Martinez got it rolling. And a seeing-eyed hit by Lindor. Tried to hold up, but he went.
Yeah, sometimes you're a pitcher, you just lose it. You lose your feel, you lose your rhythm. Can't find the strike zone. Seems like JV, a little bit of that going on right now, but Ramirez with a swing at a bad pitch, helping JV get back on track.
Fouled away, 1-2 on Ramirez. Ground ball to third, his first time up. think Verlander would take one of those right here.
Well, he'd take that all right.
1 run, 2 hits, no errors for both sides so far today. The Indians trying for the sweep. Little looper down the left field line, slicing foul. Salty back out to the mound now. We saw Terry Francona a little bit earlier in their dugout. Terry Francona went to the University of Arizona along with Brad Mills, his bench coach, and those two guys right there are very proud right now because their alma mater, the Arizona Wildcats, are in the finals of the College World Series.
They've been there before, huh? Back in the day. They've had some great players go through there.
Well, they've got one eye on the Wildcats. That's low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Brad Mills was down as the manager of Houston for a while, and after he was relieved of his duties, he ends up back with Tito. They, like you say, they're very good friends.
2-2 the count on Jose Ramirez. Fouled it back.
Ramirez being scrappy here. Fouling pitches off, making it tough on JV. Seems like he's susceptible to that pitch down and in. Take a good quality pitch here and get him.
This will be the 20th pitch of this inning. Here it comes. Another foul back out of play.
And this is a good job by Ramirez. Like, he's really not trying to put that ball in play. He's just trying to spoil it and hope that JB will make a mistake that he can handle. 378 with runners in scoring position this year. Pretty good production out of Jose.
Here's the 8th pitch in this at bat to Ramirez. And another foul back out of play, so the frustration continues. JV doing all he can to put him away. There's still nobody out here in the 4th. They run in to tie it up. Drill to right field on a line, and it's caught. Mike Aviles went back there to get it. That ball was stung to right field. Pretty good at bat there by Ramirez, even though he got nothing out of it.
Yeah, JB did a good job, didn't give in. Though he hit it on the line, that's why you got your fielders out there. Utilize them. You want to get him to get the ball in play where you can get an out. After several foul balls, that is done. Leave it up to Lonnie Chisenhall to ground into the double play that we need.
Chisenhall had a single back in the 2nd, the first hit of the day for the Indians. There's a ball inside, 1-0.
I guess we had on our pregame where Justin Verlander was talking about on a hot, muggy day today, you don't want to get into an inning of extended circumstances, something that's over 20 pitches an inning. It drains you, and it's hard to go deep into the game. He's at 23 pitches so far in this inning. Hopefully it won't take too much out of him.
Ground ball, and it's going to get through. Base hit. Here comes Lindor rounding 3rd. They send him home. Throw to the plate, not in time. It'll get away from Saltalamacchia.
Oh, second base.
Now they've got 2 runners at 3rd. Oh, this will be a break for the Tigers. Salty throws back down to 2nd, and the tag there. It looked like Napoli was going to come around to score, but he held up at 3rd base. Big break there for the Tigers.
Yeah, well, this ball just out of reach of Ian Kinsler. A couple mistakes here by both teams. You see it just out of the reach. And Aviles comes in and makes the throw right here, and it's going to go up the line and get away. Verlander's not backing up, number 1. And Chisenhall up at the top of your screen, he's just got his head down. I mean, he just keeps going. Napoli's just standing right dead on third. Salty does a good job, runs right at him, quickly gets rid of the ball. Easy tag. Tigers will take that out. I just believe early in the game, here we are in the 4th inning, you're probably not going to get that runner scoring at home initially, so you got to make sure you throw that through the cutoff man. Hopefully you can cut the ball and get the trail runner, which was Chisenhall, trying to advance to second.
It'll be a single and an RBI for Chisenhall. The putout goes 9-2-6 down at second base.
Did that make sense to you, by the way?
It made sense to me, but when I look at it, something totally separate here from Napoli's point of view, I think he might have been able to score on that play, although he's not a very fast runner.
How many outs did they have? They have 1 out,
Yeah,
so
one
he's
out.
thinking they got 1 out. But I didn't see what his base coach was doing.
Yan Gomes now will try and drive in a 2-out run. The Indians have the lead 2-1.
The point is, it's only 4 to 5% of the time, major league average, that an outfielder is going to throw a guy out at home plate that starts at second base like that, especially on a ground ball. So the odds are you're not going to get him. Would you say that's a safe bet?
Yeah, with those percentages, absolutely. So you're saying throw through the cutoff man, and
I'm saying throw it right to the cutoff man, because you just can't risk, even if Salty picks that ball, Chisenhall is going to go to second, so you got second, third with 1 out. You got to make sure that you throw that ball right to your cutoff man, because he's reading that runner right there rounding first base. Now he can let it go through, but that ball is a little offline, so it's got to be cuttable. You could kind of read it. Overall, Tigers got away with a pretty good situation right there. Got an out out of it. However, the Indians put their second run on the board, and they're now up 2-1.
Yan Gomes struck out in his first at bat. He's behind in the count here, 1-2. Way high, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So there may be many that disagree with me, and I fully understand that, but it's the way I was taught. Okay, that's just that's playing the numbers. You're trying to minimize the damage early in the game, because these extra runs you give up early affect the game when you're scoring and you're down by a run later in the game.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out on the 29th pitch thrown in the inning by Verlander. That'll end it. So the Indians will settle for 2, but they take their first lead of the day. Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price period. Bell Tire. And by Chevrolet. More than you expect for less than you imagine. Here's a look inside the truck, the production truck here at Comerica Park. So much goes on in that truck. that it spins my head, Gibby. I don't know how they do that
that's
work.
the brains of the operation for sure right there. And while we're sitting up here talking, they get to talk to us, interrupt us if they want, if we're saying something wrong, but they give you all the features and all the video, all these things that we build and the facts. Great group.
Chris Wasilewski, our producer today. Brian Moss, our director. And the Tigers now trail by a run as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Miggy, then Martinez and Castellanos. Tomlin works it home and misses low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tomlin surrendered the home run to Mike Avilos in the third, briefly giving the Tigers the lead. Now the right-hander out of Tyler, Texas, brings home the 1-1.
Inside to Miggy, again, they've been throwing him in there quite a bit. As a hitter, you can try to force yourself early in the count to take the pitches on the inside part of the plate. But it's easier said than done. Tomlin turning that ball over doesn't look like it's going to be inside. It finishes in because it runs.
Pulled on the ground to third and scooped up there by Uribe. 1 out here in the fourth. That'll bring up V-Mart. Victor flied out to right field. That was back in the first, ending that inning.
Just missed it. Mickey had a 2-out single. Victor first pitch swinging. Just missed it. Ended the first inning.
A good part of the reason that the Indians have had success in the first 2 games in the series is they pretty much have controlled Cabrera and Martinez, the middle of the Tigers lineup.
And not a ton on in front of him either. They've been coming up. Just like Miggy led off the inning there. Ian Kinsler and has not been on as much as he has been in the past. Took an 0 for yesterday.
V-Mart slams one deep in the air to right, to the track, to the wall, and that ball is out of here and gone. Victor Martinez has tied the game with his 13th home run. He must have hurt us.
Well, he didn't miss that one, did he?
Nope.
Trying to go in on him, and they do, but it's amazing how Victor at his age can get to an inside pitch so efficiently. This is a short swing. It's crowding him. You see him keep his arms and his elbows in. Just barrels that ball. Ball carries out almost straight away right field. Victor gets to jog around the bases and tied this game at 2.
And this is the moment where I remind you that Victor was my player of the game selection.
Don't gloat early.
It's a long way to go.
You're so humble.
You make me humble.
Yeah.
Castellanos the batter. He'll foul it back out of play. 0-2 on Nick. A couple of solo shots for the Tigers in this game. Avilos and now Victor Martinez.
That ball went all the way to the upper deck, and somebody flubbed it and came back. Everybody got a chance at it. I'd love to see that at the ballpark. It's right in the guy's hands, bounces off him just like mine.
Ground ball, third base side, deep behind the bag. Uribe got to bounce it on a couple of hops. Infield hit. Hey, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. It just might be Victor's home run. We'll have to wait and see.
Lots going to happen in this game yet.
Who'd you pick again, Iglesias?
Iglesias, yeah, right. I'm solid. I feel strong about it too.
Home run went 371 feet for Martinez.
That's enough.
Justin Upton struck out in his only at bat. Ball 1 to Justin.
Remember, they threw Justin away, then got the breaking ball off the body, dropped it in for a third strike. Interesting throw over there. Castellanos not a guy who's going to run. J-Up would not be a hit and run guy. Like to see Casty, if J-Up hits a ball here to the outfield, get on his horse and get on to third.
Two 2-0 on Upton.
So if you're the hitter right now, you get this energy inside your body. It's 2-0. You've got a tie game, got a guy on first, and so you have to fight against it. You have to stay relaxed. Don't try and overdo it.
Fouled back.
He let it go. Tomlin now at 50 pitches. 15 the most in the first inning. Looks like this inning right here is going to be the most that he's thrown. Already at 13.
How hot are the Indians right now? They're so hot that the Tigers' 2 runs in this game are both courtesy of former Indians. Aviles and Martinez.
That's hot.
That's really hot. Tomlin now with 2-1. Fly ball right field, shallow. Chisenhall and the second baseman Ramirez with a running play. He covered a lot of real estate.
That very good play, and that he could trust his communication with his right fielder. And look at Nick right here. There's on him. He makes a heck of a read right here. He's got to be able to get the second if it drops. He's got to be able to get back if he catches it. There you're going to see Nick's right here. He's got to read it. Does a good job. I mean, they're coming fast. Good play by the Indians. Good play by Nick not to get doubled off.
Now Saltalamacchia.
He just missed one last time up.
He skied one to right field for an 0-for-1 in this game. It's about time Salty goes deep again, wouldn't you say?
It is. He was hot early in the year. 7 quick home runs.
May 12th in Baltimore was his last long ball. Nice and hot here today. Let's see if he can hit one out.
Trying to stay away.
Ball 2.
We showed you earlier that he's 4 for 5 off Tomlin. Actually, it's 4 for 6 now. So you know he's feeling it.
Tomlin with the 2-0. Snap throw back down, and it's knocked down by Santana. That thing ate him up.
Lucky to get his glove on him. Jose Ramirez was backing up right out there as he's playing that short right field against Salty.
2-1 the count on Saltalamacchia. Wasn't even off the base. Nick throws his hands up as to say, huh?
Fans don't like it. Just a blind throw over. I think he just getting himself right before he makes his pitch. Now hang it.
Low ball 3.
The other thing, hitters don't like it when they keep throwing over like that. So it is a way to distract the hitter a bit. Do you send him right here? 3-1.
2 outs. No.
Just guessing he's going to put it in play. Hopefully he can score it on a gapper.
Runner stays put. Now it's back out of play. Now he'll be on the move.
Well, he has to be now.
3-2.
Just, sometimes you get into these ruts and My thought was just maybe send him when you normally wouldn't send him. Somewhat
Switch it up.
Tomlin's got pretty good control. He's not a huge strikeout guy, not a big swing and miss guy. So you're just kind of hedging. This ball goes in play. Maybe you can get an extra run by starting the runner. Get off there, Nick. Get off.
Here's the 3-2. And he lost him. Ball 4. 2 on now for the Tigers.
Here's the Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Window. Just happens to be coming up to the plate right now. Mike Aviles in the 3rd inning gave the Tigers a 1-0 lead, the first lead against Cleveland this year. Got it started. We stand at 2-2 now here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 on and 2 out.
Infield will straighten up against Aviles. And Mike looks at a ball outside. Well, the Tigers certainly are missing J.D. Martinez because he was hitting .400 before he went on the disabled list in the month of June.
Yes, they are, and you can see that the Indians are playing Mike way over to right center. Big gap there in the left center field.
That'll be a routine play for Tyler Naquin. And the Tigers will settle for 1 run on the home run by Victor Martinez. His 13th of the year. That'll tie it up. Fair between these two teams.
Cleveland holds the edge, 8-0 so far. They've started good, but the key is how you finish. Tigers have to just fight through this little dominance by the Indians. Turning it around, looking for their first win today. Justin Verlander so far pretty good. All knotted up as we go to the top of the 5th.
It'll be the number 8 hitter, Uribe, then Naquin, and then Santana facing Justin Verlander, who threw nearly 30 pitches in the last inning. He'll give up a drive down the left field line. That ball is hooking, and it's going to be a fair ball and gone, a home run. It stayed just fair down the left field line, and the Indians have regained the lead. Uribe can still get it done even at the age of 37.
Yeah, he's especially good at doing what he just did. Sat on the first pitch curveball, thinking that Justin's going to try and get that freebie to get me over strike. I've seen Juan Uribe do this many, many times. He gets it, he's just guessing, and takes it out of the ballpark. We actually had a conversation with some today about seeing him do that against me a few times. He's done it to the Tigers today.
Here's Tyler Naquin. Verlander struck him out swinging back in the third. That ball's hammered to right field. To the track, to the wall, and it is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the bottom of the lineup against Verlander. It is 4-2 Indians. What's going on here?
Well, they're jumping early. Two breaking balls. This looks like a changeup right here. Kind of what happened with the Indians yesterday. Sanchez threw 2 off-speed pitches. They got them both just down the middle of the plate, up in the zone, and we have back-to-back home runs on back-to-back off-speed pitches. They both swung at the first pitch, didn't they?
I have to go back on a replay. Naquin certainly did. I'm not sure on a replay.
No, it was first pitch.
All right, there you go. Well, that is now 13 extra base hits for Cleveland in this series. Santana hammers one high in the air to center. Maben is under it. One away. 0 for 3 for Santana.
Indians are kind of comfortable this inning. We talked about keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate, up in that zone, that area. And this inning, we've made a couple of mistakes, and the Indians have done what they've done in the first 2 innings, their first 2 games, not missing them.
There's a check swing, and he went around. Strike call. That's going to be 6 home runs now in the series for the Tribe. They've also hit 4 triples.
Yeah, Uribe was first pitch. Naquin was a 1-0 count. Santana tried to jump him first pitch.
That'll get back out of play. 0-2 now on Michael Martinez.
There you can see 75 total pitches so far for JV, coming off that long inning last inning.
Here's the 0-2. Martinez had that walk in the 4th, which started the trouble for JV. Justin would end up throwing 29 4th inning pitches. Wild pitch scored a run. RBI single scored a run. Had it not been for a base running mistake by Chisenhall, who knows? Might have gotten a few more. Good pitch on the outer edge, and down goes Martinez looking.
Little back door right here. See, it's up, comes back, catches the corner, up and away. Here's our high-speed pitch, brought to you by Xfinity. 96 for JB today, low of 78. That'd be the curveball.
Five strikeouts now for Justin. Here's Lindor. Singled, scored a run.
And we show all the stats of this game. The extra base hit, the most prevalent of the difference between the two offenses. Triples, doubles, home runs. 2 today for the Tribe. 2 actually had what, 3 yesterday. They had the 4 triples in the first game.
Yeah, they've been relentless offensively.
And they've struck quickly. Struck for 2 in the 4th, now 2 more in the 5th. 3rd and 4th inning was the innings on Friday night's game. Struck early yesterday. 2 home runs in the first inning.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Back up the middle into center field. Lindor is slicing one. for his second base hit of this game.
For a young hitter, he's a pretty good hitter, pretty good off-speed hitter. JB goes with the curveball there. Lindor does not lunge out front at all. He just stays there, sits nicely. Doesn't try and pull it, puts it up the middle. It's pretty disciplined for a young kid.
Here's Mike Napoli.
He's going to want to steal as well.
He'll draw a throw, and he spun his wheels trying to get back in.
12 stolen bases, 3 caught so far for Lindor.
Lindor is now 7 for 15 with a home run against Verlander.
Obviously feeling pretty comfy.
Napoli had a walk in the 4th. He's also lined out. Napoli sends one in the air deep to left. He got all of that one, and it is gone. That is the 3rd home run in this inning for the Indians. 16th of the year for Napoli. And Cleveland leads 6-2. Two-out single by Lindor kept it going.
88 miles an hour there, another off-speed pitch. Indians are sitting back. You can see they're having fun. Sparky used to tell us to watch that from the other side because he knew it was not something we would like to see.
Ramirez, meanwhile, with a base hit.
Everything they throw is getting hit.
Well, they had 4 home runs in the ballgame last night. They have 3 here today. Indians now have 8 hits. That'll bring up Chisenhall, who has 2 hits, and there's some action now in the Tigers' pen. Rich Doobie comes trotting out to buy a little time for Bruce Rondon. Really is amazing how many extra base hits now the Indians have had in this series.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can measure it as they're really swinging the bats good, or the Tigers aren't pitching the way they should, or it's probably a combination of both. But it's a game of mistakes, and the Indians, you have to give them credit. They have taken advantage.
14 extra base hits in the series for the Tribe. And now Chisenhall. A 4-run 5th inning, 6 runs on 8 hits now in the ball game for Cleveland. Foul straight back, 1 ball, 1 strike. This is the 8th man to bat in the inning for the Indians. Chisenhall is 2 out of 2 with an RBI. JB now is up to 85 pitches. That's up high, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Just going back and look at the home runs. First pitch slider to Napoli. Curveball first pitch to Uribe, and a 1-0 changeup to Naquin. All out of the park. They hit those off-speed pitches well yesterday.
Runner goes. It is drilled deep to right field. That ball is to the track. It is to the wall. A leaping try by Aviles. He can't get it. It's out of here. It's a 2-run shot. It is a 4-homer inning for the Indians.
Something off speed again. Hate to sound like a broken record, but these Indians, they really stay back. I think the Tigers are looking to see if this is fan interference as well.
Aviles threw up his hands after he made a leaping attempt for that ball.
Does the fan grab it? Oh, he had his glove out there. Hits his hat. Does it come down into Mike's glove? If it doesn't hit his hat, he's going to go out. It's worth a try.
Sure, why not?
It'd be pretty hard to say he's going to catch that ball, though.
I would agree.
And I see that Jim Reynolds is shaking his head, so they're going to have to take a look at it.
Fielding Culbreth, the third base umpire, is the crew chief, so he's been called in. Now the umpires will convene here and apparently take a look at this. Well, right now it's a 2-run homer for Chisenhall. We'll see if it stands.
Okay, just looking at the last 7 home runs the Tigers have given up. I know for sure all 4 on off-speed pitches this inning. A slider to Napoli, a changeup to Chisenhall, a curveball to Uribe, a changeup to Nyquin. Just wonder if they don't have something, because they really hit the off-speed pitch well against the Detroit Tigers this series.
Yeah, Sanchez yesterday. Is this ball catchable?
Well, that's going to be the ruling that's got to come from New York, but it looks like it could have been. I don't know how you can assume a catch.
They're going to call it a home run.
Yeah, I didn't think they would reverse it. Uh-oh.
Now Brad's going to come out.
It's going to take him out.
And Verlander is going to come out of the ball game. So it is a 2-run shot for Chisenhall. 4 home runs in the inning will chase Justin Verlander, who was on an incredible streak coming into this game, but today was roughed up by a Tribe team that has been as hot as any in baseball. Wallside windows pitching change. Rondon coming in. We'll be back.
Game summary, 2-2 tie game coming into the top of the 5th, but the Indians have struck for 4 home runs. Juan Uribe, Tyler Naquin, Mike Napoli, and then Lonnie Chisenhall for the 4th home run of the inning off to Justin Verlander. And he's done for the day. First career start allowing 3+ home runs in an inning.
So here is Rondon, his first delivery to Yan Gomes, his ball 1.
This being his 4th game, 4 2/3 innings, the ERA at 1.93, throwing the ball way better since coming up here from Toledo not too long ago. And Tigers are going to be looking, now that they trail 8-2 here in the 5th, they're going to looking to shut down from the bullpen, try and claw their way back into this game.
8 runs on 9 hits and 4 home runs in this inning alone for Cleveland. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That ball is belted down the left field line, way back. It is hooking, and it is foul. Man,
looks like BP right now.
Sure
I mean,
does.
It just doesn't happen. And when's the last time you saw it happen?
Can't remember.
Nope, it doesn't. This is the 9th batter to come to the plate this inning.
A 6-run 5th for the Indians. That's belted down the line in left. It is going to hook and go foul.
He seems to be out in front of the fastball there. He might want a little snapdragon chase piece on the outside corner.
It's pretty impressive to be out in front of 97. But he hooked the last 2. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice call. 9 men to the plate. 4 home runs in the inning chasing Verlander. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. Home field advantage brought to you by Lowe's, and Jose Iglesias in his last 13 on this home field. Pretty good.
Batting .370, got some doubles involved in there. 4 RBI, has scored 7 runs, an on-base percentage of .431. So beyond the hitting ability, he's taking his walks as well.
It'll be Iglesias to get it started here, then Kinsler and Maben facing Josh Tomlin. Tigers have touched him up for 2 homers. They have both been solo shots. And Iglesias looks at ball 1.
No, it's hard to do. It's discouraging. You give up 2 in the 4th, 6 in the 5th. You got to keep pushing through, keep grinding it. find a way to score a run, change the momentum of this Cleveland Indian team. It's got to start somewhere. It may as well start here today.
Tigers trying to chip away here in the bottom of the fifth. Here's a ground ball slowly toward third, gloved by Uribe. Threw it high, but the tag got him. Iglesias now 0 for 2.
Uribe comes up and gets this pretty good. He's got good hands. Fielded many ground balls. A high throw. Pulls Santana off the bag, but right into Iggy.
Here's Ian Kinsler. 0 for 2 in the ball game. Ball 1. Tomlin now enjoying a 6-run lead. He has surrendered 4 hits on the day. One ball and 1 strike. It'll pop up shallow center. It'll be Naquin coming in. 2 up, 2 down. I'll see the Tigers take on the Miami Marlins this Tuesday at 7:10 p.m. or Wednesday afternoon at 1:10 p.m. For tickets, visit tigers.com/tickets or call 866-66-TIGER. The Marlins coming in.
Marlins, another pretty good team. Don Mattingly will be bringing his club in here. He's done a good job down there and brought back Barry Bonds. That's really interesting, and that seems to be working out very well for the Marlins.
Yeah, they are 5 games over and just 3 out in the National League East.
What would it be like to have a hitting coach like Barry Bonds?
It's a really good question. That slice to right field. It'll drop, base hit. I mean, the guy's the all-time home run king. And by all regards, not just a prolific home run hitter, but a great hitter, period.
He's also very honest. So when he was a teammate, you know, he rode guys pretty hard with his honesty. Of course, you had to give it back to him, but how do you do it to a guy like that? But it happens.
Here is Cabrera.
Come on, Miggy. How would 8-4 look compared to 8-2?
Much better. Cabrera has the ability. Single, ground out in this game. Tomlin's 0-1. Popped up right side of the infield. It'll be Ramirez to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, 5 in the books here at Comerica. baseball. We kind of previewed it last half inning, but the Miami Marlins will be coming to town beginning on Tuesday night.
Yep, they're coming up here for 2 games. Tigers started 2 games to open the season down there, so you have those 2-2s. Conley and Wei Yin Chin, the scheduled probables. Tigers' starting rotation, I don't think, has been confirmed.
Well, the game notes do list Pelfrey and Norris. Pelfrey on Tuesday, Norris on Wednesday. So there are your front runners.
And Mike Pelfrey much better against right-handers. I think if you look at the lineup, the Marlins are going to throw out there and be mainly right-handed. It makes sense to stack him up against them.
A couple of interleague games, and then it's on to the final road trip before the first half and the All-Star break. First half ends. There's the 0-2, and it's low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Uribe, Naquin, and then Santana here in the 6th inning on a warm, muggy afternoon in the Motor City. Ball's been flying out of the ballpark. Here's a high fly ball to right. This one will stay in the park. Aviles. 1 out. Time for a game break now. Here's Mickey York.
The center fielder, Tyler Naquin.
All right, Mick, thanks. Boy, it's been a struggle for the Twins this year.
Yeah, just lost 3 in a row. 23-51, quite a different season. Yankees right around 500 as well. 37-36.
I thought that Twins team had a chance to take the next step this year after really putting together a pretty good season last year.
They surprised everybody last season, actually, and just got off to a bad start this year. Again, everything has to fall into place for you. You got to avoid injuries. You're also projecting that guys who had good seasons the previous year are going to do the same. That's tough with young kids because it's ebb and flow early in careers.
Kind of assume, and sometimes there's a mistake to assume that young players will take that next step and notch it up a level.
That's correct, and even older guys, they have things that limit them as well.
1-2 on Tyler Naquin.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Paul Molitor over there.
And it's down the third base line. Castellanos may have room.
Yep.
Into the first row of the seats to make the catch. Well, the glove did at least. 2 gone.
Again, these balls are well out over the crowd when they go up, and then they come back down. There's that spin on them that brings them back down towards the field, so you got to stick with them. See the fans there trying to do their best to stay out of the way, and Cassidy puts it away. On his way over to play third base at second base. So you got the shift on.
Santana is 0 for 3. We're talking about the shifts last night. The Tigers have been toward the bottom. Only 4 teams shift fewer times than the Tigers, or have shifted fewer times than the Tigers this year.
I think they call that a combination of old school and new school.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. 2 balls, no strikes.
I think a lot of the shifting is predicated on the location. You got to execute location.
Now 2-0. In there is strike 2-1 on Santana.
You look at the numbers on the shifts, it definitely works out better. They show that about 30 points lower the average is, 25 to 30 points lower versus the shift than the non-shift.
2-2 now on Santana. I just find it interesting how different organizations filter the information and how much importance they put on it. Some really are all in. I mean, all the way in.
Well, I think you're talking Houston would be the organization that's all in.
Swing and a miss. And Bruce Rondon has retired all 4 that he's faced. 1, 2, 3 go the Indians.
In the 4th inning for the Tigers, Victor Martinez goes deep. That actually tied the score at 2 apiece. Unfortunately, the Indians scored 6 in the 5th. And now lead the Tigers 8-2.
So it'll be Martinez to get it started, then Castellanos and Upton facing Tomlin, who has limited the Tigers to 2 solo shots. You just saw the one by V-Mart. The other belongs to Aviles. 0-1 on Victor. They shift him to the right side of the infield. And there is ball 1 low. 1-1 on Martinez. Second baseman Ramirez way out there in right field. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A little bit outside. 2-1 on Martinez.
You were talking about the shifts, and the Indians shifting right here again. Tigers 284 shifts so far this year. In 2010 they did 33 all year. Projected to 613.
Ball's hit pretty good down to left field, to the track, to the wall. It's going to carry, and it is gone. And Victor has a 2-homer game. 8-3 ball game.
That's one way to beat the shift right there. Not only did he not hit into the shift, he went oppo, got elevation, hits it out of the ballpark. This ball just tailing out over the plate, up in the zone. You see Victor doesn't try and pull it right off the top of the wall. Watch, it get hit on the yellow and bounce out. That's the first good bounce we've had in a while. I like it. 8-3.
Castellanos looks at a strike. 349 feet, a multi-homer game for Victor Martinez. That's his 14th of the year. In there, a strike, and the count is 0-2 on Nick, who thought that one might have been high. Tomlin gets it. He's ready to throw. The 0-2. Good and chase. 1 ball. Oh, he went around.
That's what he said. Andy Gonzalez. Right hand came up quick.
1 gone.
So comparing on those shifts, the Tigers at 613 projected. The Astros, the #1 team, are projected at 1,776 shifts. Astros, Mariners, Brewers, Rockies, and the Rays all over 1,500 shifts per year. Now, some of the teams are doing well out of that group, some aren't. So it's not a fix-all.
Bouncing ball toward third, a rebound, the charge. Quick flip is in time. 2 away.
We get a look again. Michael Martinez goes up right off the top of the wall with the favorable bounce. We call that the member bounce.
Here's Saltalamacchia. Talk about Houston and all the shifting they do. The one vision that I remember from doing games in Houston is watching A.J. Hinch on the bench, and there are papers galore posted all over the railing, and he's got books and notebooks just filled with all the information.
And now MLB is starting to allow tablets in the dugouts. So I know that they had a call last week on that.
That's in the air toward right field. Going to be run down by Chisenhall to end the inning. So a leadoff home run gets the Tigers 1 back. Victor goes deep again. Wilson coming in for the Tigers.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. 4 home runs in the 5th inning for the Cleveland Indians. All in off-speed pitches. Look at the location here. Curveball to Uribe. Naquin hits the changeup. Napoli hits the slider, pretty much middle. And Lonnie Chisenhall, another change. So the Indians are just a hot-hitting team who make a little mistake. Some of those pitches aren't that terribly bad, but they are really hot, making the Tigers pay in this series today as well. We have a wall side windows pitching change. Justin Wilson now in the game. 33rd game on the year. ERA at 3.49. Very dominating with his velocity. 36 strikeouts, only 5 walks.
You got the 2, 3, and 4 hitters to deal with here. It'll be Martinez, Lindor, and Napoli. Tigers got 1 back on the 2nd home run of the day by Victor. 8-3 ball game now. Ball 1 missing outside to Michael Martinez. So the Tigers today have gone with Verlander, Rondon, and now the lefty Wilson. It's a ground ball to short to his left, Iglesias.
That ball came up late on Iglesias. Infield's getting dried out right now. They did just drag it. They drag it in the 3rd and the 6th. handled it nicely, though. Iggy did.
Here's Lindor. Two more hits today for Lindor, 4 in the series, couple of singles and a couple of runs scored.
2 singles, 2 home runs.
Strike 1 on Lindor.
Every time he's got a hit, he scored in this series.
Now they go 1. Well, Rondon looked good today. In fact, that slider looked outstanding, and since he's come back, that pitch has looked almost unhittable.
He's did a good job of keeping it down. He's got the good arm motion as well. I think they worked a little bit with him on his delivery, cleaning it up a little bit and having him hide the ball a little better than he was earlier in his career.
2-1 on Lindor. Three balls and 1 strike. Napoli on deck. Lindor, a first rounder a couple of years ago in 2011. Breakout rookie season last year, finishing 2nd in the Rookie of the Year voting. Full count now, 3-2. The 3-2 fouled away. Lindor had his first major league hit in this ballpark. It was last season. Made his debut here in Detroit and really has not stopped hitting since.
He was described as a baseball rat with tremendous work ethic to go with his above average tool. He does play the game with some ease, doesn't he?
He does. He took a big rip there and down he goes. Check in now with Justin White.
Hey Mario, a lot of the guys in the Indians clubhouse were thrilled to see the Cavaliers finally win a championship for the city of Cleveland. But the one exception was backup catcher Chris Jimenez. He grew up in the Bay Area and is a big Golden State Warriors fan. Well, not only did his team lose the series, Jimenez lost a bet, and he now cannot shave his head until after the All-Star break. Jimenez has shaved his head for years, and his teammates are really looking forward to seeing how much hair grows in and where it grows in. In fact, the day after the Cavs won the title, he walked into the clubhouse and saw all of his shaving products taped to the wall above the locker in the Indians clubhouse.
How about that, Gibby? I mean, that's quite a bet there.
Yeah, what's worse, a shaved head or a head of half hair? If you grow enough, maybe you could get the comb over going, you know?
It's going to take a while. He can go after the All-Star break, apparently, though. So
yeah, it's not going to be that long from the looks of it.
No, doesn't appear so.
Starting a new look. Does seems like a lot of fun things going on in that Indians clubhouse, though. The boys get along pretty good.
Yeah, and that seems to be something that all teams that are successful have going. Trying to take the drag off a long season.
Yeah, 8-9 wins in a row make it happy, make the clubhouse good as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the Tigers, as tough as a season as they had last year, I thought they did a real good job within their clubhouse. They did stick together. They'll do the same this year, although they're discouraged so far within this series.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Mike Napoli. 2 out, nobody on. 5-run lead for the Indians in the 7th. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss to strike him out, and Justin Wilson has a snappy 7th inning. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. Verlander allowed 4 home runs in the 5th inning, and that turned out to be the big inning so far in this ball game. Aviles and Vmart have gone deep, but when we start to look at positives, the Tigers bullpen pretty good today, and they've been good for the most part.
So far, 2 1/3 innings, no hits, 4 strikeouts, and they were good against the Mariners in the previous series. So the hope was that we could get deeper into these games, close to the Indians. The bullpen would come in and everything would be fixed, but it has not turned out that way, as this Indians team has continued to play well and is unstoppable thus far.
Well, the Tigers are hosting the Kansas City Royals on Saturday, July 16th at 7:10 p.m. The first 10,000 fans receive a free J.D. Martinez bobblehead. For tickets, visit Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. Mark the date on your calendar, July the 16th.
Take a look at the AL Central standings. Cleveland all at top. As you see, Tigers right now currently back 6. Chicago back 7. Minnesota is definitely out of it. Long way to go here. Kansas City's been getting beat up itself over there, so the Houston Astros not being too friendly to them. Got to get through this series, stay healthy, end on a positive note if you can, and move on to the next series after a nice off day tomorrow.
Meanwhile, the Tigers will still face Tomlin here in the 7th, trying to get it going. They're down by 5 runs. Need a couple of base runners here to get it going. Tomlin surrendering 3 solo home runs, and that has been it. It'll be Mike Aviles to get it going here in the 7th.
Jeff Manship warming up in the Indians bullpen. Only at 79 pitches for Tomlin. Manship may be just getting some work in, has not pitched in a while.
Aviles had a homer in the 3rd to get the Tigers their first lead of the season series against the Indians. The first one is low and away, 1-0. 8 runs, 9 hits for Cleveland, 3 runs, 6 hits for the Tigers. Here's a strike at the knees, and the count goes 1-1. Low, 2 balls, 1 strike out of Aviles. Iglesias, then Kinsler to follow. 8, 9, and 1 in the Tigers lineup. Line drive softly to left field. It's going to be caught by Martinez. 1 out. It'll bring up Iglesias. For 2 in this game. Iglesias strikeout and a ground out.
Tigers just still trying to figure out the Cleveland Indians. They almost have a spell on them here at the plate. Even any of the balls that they've hit really haven't had any drop in, any cheapies. The line drives have been directly, can't find a gap. The home runs that we have hit have been solos, so looking for something for a little more production so you can score by 2s.
Shane Green in the Tigers bullpen now. Well, Tomlin certainly gets it done in a different way than the previous 2 guys, Salazar and Carrasco.
Yeah, they're pure velo guys, 95 plus.
Line drive, hooking foul. But Tomlin must be doing something right this year. Despite the 3 home runs that he has given up today, his numbers coming in were really good.
Yes, 8-1 to start the year. Going for his 9th win today.
ERA in the low 3s. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball back towards second. Ramirez got him by half a step.
Good hustle, attaboy.
That was close. 2 gone now. Hey, David Ortiz, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, and all of baseball's superstars come together for the primetime event that'll light up the summer. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game from San Diego on July 12th only on Fox.
Home Run Derby's got to be on Monday, right?
It is.
They decided not to do the pitchers, or they are?
I haven't heard. I would be stunned if they let the pitchers do it.
I would be shocked too, because that's an oblique injury waiting to happen.
Here's Ian.
I mean, when they were talking about that, I was thinking, are you kidding? How could you even consider that?
Well, as a manager, you wouldn't allow your guys to do it, would you?
You can't stop him. I don't think you can stop him. But I think you'd be putting, I don't know, it seems like your priorities would be changed if you did that.
Now, I know Madison Bumgarner is a very good hitter, and he hits home runs, but to put him in a home run hitting contest and, you know, look at what, here's some numbers on homers for pitchers. I mean, you're putting your season in jeopardy.
Yeah, I would say in this thing, Greinke's a really good hitter as well. He's not on that home run list.
Driven to right field and caught there by Chisenhall. Tigers go 1-2-3 in the 7th inning. Shane Green coming in. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. Have the lead here as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Shane Green is going to check in now out of the bullpen for the Tigers.
Yeah, Shane has thrown very well since going into the Tigers bullpen, the 16th game. ERA is on his way down. It was very elevated as a starter. Strikeout to walk ratio is much better. His last 3 games, only 1 hit, no runs in his last 3 appearances.
It'll be Ramirez to lead it off, then Chisenhall and Gomes. Bullpen has been perfect so far. 7 straight retired by Wilson and Rondon, and now Green takes over.
Getting muggier.
It is. There's a strike called.
It's nice to have a nice tie on today, on a day like today. Keep that heat in there, warm these old bones up, isn't it?
That's right, man. It's awesome. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Make sure you wear a white shirt, though.
The 0-1 pitch. There's a ball low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Little cutter on the inside corner there. Just broke off.
The big inning in this game, a 6-run 5th for the Indians. It turned it around, and it included 4 home runs. That ball skied in the air to center field. Hit pretty good, but Maben will run it down. 1 out. "15 extra base hits for the Tribe in this series, the most in any 3-game series for Cleveland this year."
Well, they've had a couple innings in this series where they almost batted around. 4th and 5th big innings today for Cleveland. The first game was the 3rd and the 4th inning. They batted around there as well. When you start getting into trouble, you just always hope you can stop the inning, find a way to get an out. not turn it into a big inning like the 6-run 5th inning today. The Tigers have had trouble doing that.
Well, it looked like they were going to do it after the leadoff home runs by Uribe and Naquin. Verlander came back to get the next 2 batters, and with 2 outs, nobody on, Lindor singled, and then
home run, single, home run.
That ball driven down the right field line. It hit pretty good, and Aviles goes to the wall, can't get it. It's going to roll away from him. Chisenhall's going to round the bag and go to third. And he is going to be in with another triple for the Indians. How many do they have in this series? About 17?
Yeah. I think that's 5.
Oh, okay.
Who's counting though, huh?
I've lost count.
Well, Lonnie Chisenhall's 4th triple this season. Mike had to make the attempt at it. You could either play off or go for the glory and try and make the catch. Just off the tip of his glove. Chisenhall scoots around pretty good. He can smell it. Ball bounces off the right field wall, and Mike can only pick it up and throw it in. Chisenhall into third easily, and the Tigers have the infield in.
That is 6 triples in the series now for the Indians, and Chisenhall a 4-hit day. Yan Gomes trying to drive in a run. He's had a not so good day. He's struck out 3 times. Infield in for the Tigers. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, when you talk to some of the Cleveland media, they don't really see this club as an offensive club.
They don't. No, you're right.
They see it more as a club that can really pitch, defends fairly decently. But we've seen both.
You know what they've done in this series, it seems, Kirk, is that they've been able to grind out at bats. And I guess it's easier to do when you're ahead. I mean, they felt good about themselves, but I mean, they have elevated some pitch counts in this series.
Honestly, I think that this will force the Tigers to further evaluate where they're going to go with their staff as well.
Uribe waiting on deck.
I mean, Cleveland is as good as anybody in the league with their starting staff. Tigers will continue to tinker with their starters.
Eight to 3. The Indians trying to get another run in here on the 1-out triple by Chisenhall. One and 2 on Gomes. Back up the middle into center, base hit. The drawn in infield, and Gomes takes advantage. An RBI single to score Chisenhall.
It's always tough when you have the infield in. The ball has to be hit directly at you to give you an opportunity to get the runner coming from third. And Gomes just serves it right up the middle. That gets the job done. Out of Iggy's reach. That ball's out over the plate. He just goes right up the middle with it. They continue to execute.
9-3 ball game now. Here's Uribe. Little chopper back up the middle. Iglesias will flip to second. There's 1. There's 2. And the double play ends the inning. 6-4-3. Another run in as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers are down 9-3 in this one. Cameron Maybin has another hit in this ball game today, and when you look at his home and road splits, it's striking what he does in this ballpark.
Well, it really is. He's obviously comfortable right here. Got up and got off to a good start after being on the disabled list. Likes that home cooking, I guess, in that home bed. But hitting .359 overall coming into today's game, so been a pretty good year so far for Cameron, and need him to lead off right here with some damage.
Maybin, Cabrera, and then Victor Martinez.
Just about 6 doubles in a row. How would that suit you?
Let's get started. We got to get going. Strike one on Maybin.
They didn't ask for 6 homers. 6 doubles.
Yeah, you're not getting greedy.
Tomlin coming in, 90 pitches to start the inning. They do have action in their bullpen.
1 ball, 1 strike on Maybin. Single ground out for Cameron. Bouncing ball to third. Easy hop for Uribe. They pulled him off the bag again. Cameron is tagged out. That looked like he might have snuck that foot in there, but he's called out.
No challenge. As Brad is looking over there at the. He got him.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I've noticed in this series, a lot of easy hop ground balls to third.
They've been doing a good job. They pound you inside or something off speed down in the zone, and you tend to roll it over.
Cabrera's 1 for 3, singled in the first inning, and that's been it today for Miguel.
They've been pounding him in.
And again, they come inside 2-0.
Reminds me of the old Toronto Blue Jays. We'd go in there for a series in the exhibition stadium, and they just inside as a hitter. It's relentless. It wears you down, and you start to expand your zone, gets you out of your strengths.
2-1.
Here's some hitting advice from the stands right there.
Come on, Miguel, let's go. That was the advice. There's a swing and a miss.
That's a pretty good fastball, 2-seamer. Just turned it over, started on the inside corner, ran off.
Tomlin working at a brisk pace. There's another ground ball to third, scooped up there by Uribe. That has certainly been the hot corner in this series. Well, after a day off, meet us back here on Tuesday when the Tigers welcome in the Marlins. Tigers Live begins at 6 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Detroit. And don't forget, if you can't be by your TV, make sure to live stream us on your Fox Sports Go app.
Got around, it's either 5 or 6 ground balls to third base today, Uribe.
By the way, who was my pick, my Tigers player of the game?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
I think it was this guy right here.
You're amazing.
And he said 2 home runs today.
If you're really good, he'll hit a grand slam right here.
Well, he can't do that. There's nobody on base.
Trim that lead down to 9-7. We'll even take 9-4.
It would be a 3-homer game for Victor. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's a strike right at the knees. 0-2.
100 pitches for Mr. Tomlin. I mean, he's the guy who can go much further. I think they saw around 118 pitches for his high this year.
One ball, 2 strikes. McAllister in the bullpen for the Tribe.
They're just going to try and get him through this inning and get him out.
That'll get foul. Tigers today have been out hit 11-6.
Unhomered What, 4-2? 4-3.
4-3. Aviles had one as well for the Tigers. And again the 1-2. This time fouled a little deeper down the left field line.
Yeah, Victor's not going to pull off the ball. You see him hitting most of his foul balls down the left field line. He's protecting.
Kyle Ryan warming up in the Detroit bullpen. Up and in, 1 ball and make it 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Guess that's a way of saying don't get too comfortable in there, Mr. Martinez. After the two dingers.
The walk to Saltalamacchia earlier in this game is the only 3-ball count that Tomlin has gone to today. Little chopper right back up the middle for Uribe. And that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. 3-5-3 groundouts for Tomlin. He's been pretty good today. 8 in the books here at Comerica. Josh Tomlin, man, he has spun a pretty good one here this afternoon. And the Tigers are going back to the bullpen here. Kyle Ryan will come on a pitch in the 9th.
Kyle Ryan's been great his last several outings. It's his 26th game. Been down to Toledo, up and back a couple times. 2.84 ERA. 15 strikeouts, only 5 walks. That whip's coming down as well. Much more and better command of all of his pitches down in the zone. Got that good sinker, the cutter, working much better.
Tyler Naquin leads it off, the number 9 hitter for Cleveland.
Kyle Ryan in the last series on 2 occasions just shut down the Seattle Mariners, allowed the Tigers to come back and win the game.
Yeah, he looked as good as we have seen him look in a while. Tigers today got good work out of Rondon and Wilson. Green gave up a triple and a single, but got a double play ball to end that inning. Naquin fouls it away, 2-1. Reading an article before the game today, one of the writers for the Indians, one of the beat writers, saying that, you know, as we get closer now to the month of July, trading deadline coming up, the Indians certainly have to make some moves if they want to take advantage of the start that they've gotten off to. As Castellanos throws out Naquin, and one of the things they've talked about is getting another bat. Now, the wild card is Michael Brantley. If and when he comes back, how much he'll be able to give them.
Yeah, that's if you can get Michael Brantley back healthy. He's still suffering. He had a shoulder problem surgery, and then he was almost ready to come off, and then he's got some tendonitis back in that. But I tell you, when you look at all the trades at the trade deadline, how many of them really have huge impact?
It's a great point. And I agree with that 100%. I think a lot of times clubs make deals just to make deals because they're, quote, supposed to at the deadline.
I think that one of the things that they look to do is kind of uplift everybody, the fans and the team. There's a perception that you are doing the right thing, which you're trying to make your club better. I'm not saying that you're not. In the Tigers case last year, they traded some of their better players off, and it made sense to restock the organization with new fresh players and give themselves more depth. I can see that part of it.
Ball low to Santana.
I mean, obviously there have been some players that have worked out nicely, but sometimes you have to get a player, you have to take something out of the back end and years after that initial year, and that's what hurts the organizations.
Michael Fulmer coming over in the deal last year for Cespedes from the Mets. That'll miss inside 3-1. The other thing I always wondered is if you have a team that's going really well into the trading deadline, how much do you risk messing up the chemistry of that deal?
Well, it depends what kind of player you get. But again, I think if you're out in front, you know, just certain players that you might bring on the team would at least change the perception that you're really trying and you mean business. And
right.
The support is always appreciated by everybody, the fans, the players.
The 3-2. Yeah, I know a couple of years ago, I think it was, Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays was very outspoken about the fact that his team didn't do anything at the trading deadline of consequence. And so you also run that risk of that you're showing your club that, you know, maybe you aren't trying to help the team.
But who did they go get last year? They got Tulo, right?
Tulo last year.
And they got, who else? They got one more guy.
It's grounded foul. Tulo and
David Price.
David Price, yes.
Yeah, it was a good try, but it didn't work out. Now what? They lose David Price. They've lost a couple of prospects over it on both the deals. So you go for it. There's no guarantee.
Grounded toward third and scooped up by Castellanos.
Hey, just watching Nick throw that ball across the diamond lately. He's much more confident. His footwork is much better, and the arm looks to be way stronger. Ranging pretty good to his left right here. Gets his feet around. And a strong throw. Right on target.
Here's Michael Martinez. Ball one.
That may seem trivial to some watching, but when he has to get into doing that quicker, you know, he's coming on, and many times a lot of errors that are made on the infield are just lazy sloppiness. You know, when you have a routine play, you don't get your feet around. So Nick's starting to show good habits.
That's going to be a seeing-eyed single to the right side, a two-out hit for Martinez.
That's a hit. You're kidding me.
Now Lindor. It's going to be 12 hits now for Cleveland.
See that ball's good pitch on the outside part of the plate. Gets the ground ball, maybe off the plate. Gets rewarded for that.
Lindor gets another at bat. He has 2 hits in this game, both singles, 2 runs scored. Nine to 3. We're in the 9th inning. A 6-run lead for the Indians. One. Tigers in the bottom of the 9th will have Castellanos, Upton, and Saltalamacchia due up. $23 runs so far for the Indians in this series. Pretty good pressure.
Pretty good offensive output for them in this series.
Not bad for a team that everybody identifies as a team loaded with starting pitching as their strength. Now the 1-2. Hooked foul. Indians are headed to Atlanta. Play a 3-game series beginning there tomorrow night. Little chopper left side of the infield. Castellanos barehanded play. Not in time. It's an infield hit for Lindor, his third of the game.
Got down the line pretty good right here. Not much Nick could do. The infield's getting hard right now, so the ball's going to bounce higher. This is right off the top of the plate. Nick gets a high hop, which doesn't allow him to get it over there in time, just after the touch of the bag by Lindor.
Here's Mike Napoli. Pulled toward left field. That ball is going to land foul.
He just tomahawks balls.
Checking the bat, it sounded kind of funny off the bat.
Got jammed. Little jammy sandwich.
The Indians in the season series against the Tigers are hitting .421 with runners in scoring position. That'll about tell everything you need to know about the season series so far. Napoli 2-run homer back in the 5th. Now the 1-1. "13 hits for the Indians in this game."
Unfortunately, 4 home runs. All in the 5th inning. Very unusual.
Swing and a miss. That'll end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning at Comerica. It's going to be Castellanos to lead it off, then Upton and Saltalamacchia.
Go out of town to Houston for Jose Altuve, going for the cycle right here. Look, he's really motoring.
He trips.
He trips and falls. Looks like he trips over the bag actually, but the helmet hits him on the back of the leg, the back of the foot, and just threw him off. This guy's a great ball player. Of course, everybody laughing because Houston's playing so well. That'll bring us to our Major League news and notes. Steven Strasburg back on the DL with an upper back strain. Minnesota Twins, 6 home runs today versus the Yankees most of the game by the Twins since July of 2007. And today versus the Cubs, Jose Fernandez, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits and an earned run. He hit a double as well. 6th start with 10+ strikeouts this season. And the Tigers will miss him.
He will not pitch in this series. The Marlins coming in. Zach McAllister is on now for Cleveland as we go to the 9th. Nick Castellanos skies one in the air to center. Tyler Naquin is under it. And 1 pitch, 1 out. That's 10 in a row retired since the last Victor Martinez home run. Now Justin Upton. Tigers today have been limited to 6 hits. They had just 4 yesterday against Carrasco. Strike 1 on Upton.
Talking about 10 in a row. Josh Tomlin, 8 innings pitched, 3 runs, walked 1, only 3 strikeouts, but he did give up 3 home runs, 2 to Victor. Just kind of the pitcher he is. Contact, lets the guys make contact.
Ground ball to short. Lindor has it there. 2 up, 2 down. And that'll leave it up to Saltalamacchia. Tigers 1 out away from being swept by Cleveland and falling 7 games off the pace in the Central.
It's not what they wanted to see coming into this series. They were feeling pretty good about themselves. Cleveland has brought us down to speed a little bit, but off day tomorrow. Regroup. Get after the Marlins.
You know, this homestand has kind of been a microcosm of the entire season for the Tigers. They swept the Seattle Mariners and on the verge here of being swept by the Indians. Just have not been able to put a good stretch and find consistency in that stretch.
They came into this series 3 games over 500, and this will put them back even at 500 again. 38-38.
0-2 on Saltalamacchia. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A little high, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Take a look at the location, set up just off. They got it. Gomes tries to frame it on the outside corner. Doesn't get the call.
Swing and a miss, and that is that. The final 12 Tigers go down in a row today as Cleveland completes the sweep. They beat the Tigers this afternoon.
Well, I hear a little displeasure from the fans, and it's understandable, and we all appreciate everybody who's been watching on the television, but stay behind these guys. Don't get too discouraged. Stay kind of even keeled. There'll be better times ahead. Tigers get swept. Off day tomorrow, on to Miami. We'll be back.